Hey everybody, welcome back to Duality 7X. I'm your host Shiraz, and if this is your first time joining us, well, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Please hit the like, smash the subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you can be up to date with the latest and the greatest when it comes to news related to the world of MMA, UFC, the WWE, and boxing. Now, here we go again. And I'm not talking about Sean Strickland this time. I'm talking about Mr. DC himself, Daniel Cormier. And no, this isn't about Brock Lesnar. This is about Jon Jones. Right. I mean, this is one of the greatest rivalries in MMA history. And it's just not going to go away, guys. It just won't go away. And every time we think it's cooled off, well, guess what? Something sparks it back up, and this time it's all about DC leaving Jon Jones off his Mount Rushmore of MMA GOATs. The greatest of all times, guys. And trust me, Jon did not take it well, and I want to get into it, right? So look, here's a skinny man. All right, look, there's a backstory to this. Let me provide some context. Daniel Cormier was recently asked during an interview to give his Mount Rushmore of MMA. Basically, the top 4 greatest fighters of all time.
Give me your Mount Rushmore fighters.
Demetrious Johnson.
Okay.
George St-Pierre.
Okay.
Khabib. Khabib was undefeated. Nobody beat him. 4th, God, that's where it gets tough. That's where it gets tough. Because you feel like you want to put, when we talk about just accomplishments, no one's more accomplished than Amanda Nunes.
Right.
Can I really put her on the Mount Rushmore of fighting? But George, Demetrious, Khabib, God, there's some good guys. Chuck Liddell was good, man. Chuck Liddell's kind of responsible for us being here. Randy Couture won 2 titles in his bracket. I think that 4th place would belong to one of those guys. Wow. I think somebody like that, because I would never put myself up there. Right.
But
I'm right in that 4 to 7 range.
Yeah. I thought you might put Anderson.
Anderson had the steroids.
Yeah.
Right. I can't put Anderson. I would like to put Anderson. If I'm saying all those guys included, then obviously Jon and Anderson are on that Mount Rushmore. Right. But I don't do that. I refused it. It's not in fighting.
Who do you think made that list? Because I'll tell you right now, before I get into it, his list was pretty solid. I mean, he threw out Demetrious Johnson, George St-Pierre, and of course, his boy, Khabib. But when it came to that 4th spot, DC stalled. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Why did he stall? Because he wasn't about to put Jon Jones on there. And he straight up said he couldn't put Anderson Silva either because of the PED violations. Which, if you follow DC, you know he's always been really big on keeping the sport clean. He's been talking about this endlessly. And there's a lot of people who just don't like that. Now, Jon Jones didn't exactly take this lightly. He wasn't really impressed with DC's list, and he jumped on X and went off on Cormier for leaving him out. Classic Jon, right? Classic Jon. And then, obviously, DC fired back. He's on his good guy, kind of bad guy, show with, Chael Sonnen. And he basically said, look, I just answer the questions I'm asked. I've given Jon credit a million times before. He's the toughest guy I've ever fought, one of the smartest fighters in the cage, one of the best ever. But then DC called Jones weird. He said Jon only seems to latch on to the negative parts of what people say, ignoring all the compliments, and honestly, he's not wrong. He's not. And look, if you've been following these guys' careers, you'll see a pattern. And I mean, this is where I kind of talk about my take. This is my breakdown because, on one hand, DC has a point. He really does give Jon credit. Like, go back and watch his interviews. He talks about it all the time. He's not shy about calling it one of the toughest fights of his life. But let's be real. These two are never going to get along. Too much history, too much bad blood for these guys to reconcile their differences in a civil manner. The whole PED thing still hangs over Jon's career too, right? And look, this is probably one of the reasons why Dana White is so frustrated with the likes of Jon Jones. And you know Jon Jones wants to be on the White House UFC card as well too, right? And then Dana White was quoted as saying, that's $1 billion to 1. It's not going to happen. He can't. And why? Because I just can't trust him. That's what Dana said. So look, I mean, he broke it down. UFC 182, Jon's levels were suspicious. UFC 200, Jon pops up again, and then the fight gets pulled. UFC 214, Jon tests positive after the fight. That's 3 separate times connected to their rivalry. And you can hear the frustration in DC's voice, guys. Like, why did this always happen with me? And look, from DC's perspective, he's grinding, doing everything right. Meanwhile, his biggest rival is caught in controversy every single time. I mean, of course that's going to be his thing, isn't it? Like, how would you feel? You're DC and you're doing all the right things. You're straight edge. You're going out there and you're busting your behind. And then this happens every single time. So my question is, where do we go from here? And honestly, this rivalry is not going to go away. It isn't. And if anything, I think it just something happened and rekindled this rivalry. Like, you know, it started off with like tweets going back and forth, and now who knows, man, where this is going to go. I mean, both of these guys are technically retired, right? Or semi-retired in Jon's case. Their names are forever linked. DC's in a commentary booth. Jon still technically the heavyweight champion. Now, could we see these two bury the hatchet one day? Yeah, that's a possibility, guys. I'm not going to put that. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. It most likely can happen. I mean, these guys are obviously going to be cordial with one another if they see each other, obviously. But let's be real. Jon, for whatever reason, just doesn't let stuff go. He could have. And if you don't believe that, then why did he immediately tweet, "Where am I on the Mount Rushmore of GOATs? How come I'm not on that list?" Well, you know, this is DC's list. It is what it is. Are you like, I'm sure Jon Jones has his own MMA Rushmore. Is DC on that list? Look, DC's more polished now, all right? But he still can't help throwing a few digs here and there when asked about Jon Jones. I mean, this is like, honestly, reminds me of like, there's a lot of rivalries that happen, but when we think about, Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, that level hate that they had with one another, and honestly, it keeps the MMA community buzzing literally every single time they go back and forth. But Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, they linked up, and they buried the hatch, and they became really, really close friends. So, could that happen with DC and Jon Jones? I'm not going to say it can't happen. But will it? I don't know. Imagine this. What if one day the UFC brings Jon Jones and DC together for a sit-down? Instead of DC talking with Chael Sonnen or talking with Shannon Sharp, what if it was Jon Jones and DC in a room? Unfiltered conversation about their rivalry. Jeez, that's another story that would break honestly, that would break the internet in half. So look, here's my opinion. DC has every right to leave Jon off his Mount Rushmore. That's his list. But I also get why, well, I don't know. I kind of do, but I kind of don't understand why Jon snapped. I mean, being left out hurts, I guess, when you've accomplished as much as he has. But at the end of the day, I mean, My question is DC on Jon's MMA Rushmore list? Highly doubt it. So who cares? Why is Jon overreacting? Unless he's got some additional things that he needs to, get off his chest. No matter what we say, no matter what happens, guys, these guys are forever connected and etched into history. All right. So what do you guys think? Was DC being fair by leaving Jon off, or does Jon Jones honestly deserve to be on DC's Mount Rushmore spot? No matter what. Let me know in the comments, guys. I want to hear your takes. And don't forget to hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so you don't miss a beat, guys. And join us here on Duality 7X for all the amazing fight talk that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. UFC breakdowns, stories from the MMA and the world of WWE and boxing, of course. And look, these stories like this and these kind of rivalries are what shape the world of MMA, and this is what makes it so darn exciting to be living in this day and age. I can't wait to see what happens after this, right? Anyways, I hope you guys stay safe. We'll catch you guys on the next one.